So lately I've been really thinking about what sort of things actually improve our photography and how can you as a creative and as a photographer get better at your craft. And I think it really is boiled down to three things. And I think they're pretty simple and they're pretty essential. I have some more practical tips and ways that you can improve your compositions later in this video. And if you want to go and just skip to that, you can go ahead and click down in the description box and just go ahead and start those parts if you're not really interested in the things I'm going to talk about right now. But I encourage you to stick around because I think these three things are going to be more unique than you think. So the first thing is being consciously aware in everything that you're doing. Being aware of your surroundings, and I mean just like in your life in general, being very present and open to anything that may come along. Because if you are not paying attention to what you're looking at, if you're not paying attention and being aware and taking in all of the stimuli around you, you are going to miss things. So if you can really tune into the presence around you and the presence within yourself and look at things and really just feel those things, you are going to be a better photographer because you are going to capture moments that you would have otherwise missed if you were not paying attention. If we really want to push ourselves creatively, we need to be active participators in the craft and in what we're doing. So the second thing that's really important for improving your photography is tapping in and practicing paying attention and listening to your inner creative intuition. And that takes practice and that just takes time. But I think there are a few ways that you can start to tap into it and feel what it is that your inner intuition is. Oftentimes when you see something and you're like, oh my God, like that's the photo, and you just pull your camera out and you take a quick photo. I find that a lot of times that image is better than any of the images that I take after, trying to like make the composition more interesting or being like, okay, I don't think I got it just right, let me try it again. And then I have like 20 pictures afterwards and I'm just like sifting through all of them and I'm like, okay, the first one was the best one. And I think there's a reason for that. I think it's because when we just sort of go with our gut feeling, that's our intuition. And I think if we can remember that sometimes all it takes is it's just that little quiet moment and pause when you just go, oh, that's it. It's just sort of like, you just sort of know, basically. And I think that you can also not only translate this in the field, but you can translate this to when you are editing as well. You know, I've had like 5 different photos that are very similar and I'm trying to pick one and it's like, no, just like drop down for a second, look at them. Which one is an immediate yes? If there are no immediate yeses, if you're just like, yeah, to all of them, they're probably not good photos. Or they're just not the ones, and that's okay. But oftentimes, if you really just click through and whatever is your first gut reaction is just whatever that yes is, that's your intuition, and that's what's gonna help you pick a better photo. In addition, when you are trying to frame a shot, we can get caught up in being like, okay, rule of thirds, line this thing up there, make this thing look like that, and really trying to follow like a technical formula. And although it's very, very helpful, sometimes just trust what looks good in the moment. You don't need to know why it works. If it feels like it works, it works. And I think that can really help you narrow down what exactly a good photo looks like. And because a lot of the times for me, when I take a really good photo, some of it is luck. Some of it is skill, of course, but then some of it is just straight up intuition, like just straight up, I don't know, it just felt good. And so I think that's something that we need to think about and hold on to as photographers as we are consistently and actively creating in life. Okay, the final thing that's going to improve your photography, and this might seem simple and stupid, but I really think it's important to reiterate it and talk about it. It is, you need to learn from other creatives. You just have to. You have to listen to other creators. You need to go out and shoot and vlog with other creators. If you are not taking in other people's perspectives, you are not going to improve. That's just a fact. Because your perspective, although is really, really important, and you need to keep your voice at all times when you are trying to create, I also think it is extremely important to take in other perspectives. I would not be a better creator if I wasn't sort of using someone else as a soundboard, or I wasn't listening to somebody talk about how they've improved their shots or how they've set up a composition. And so ultimately, I think that we push ourselves to do better when we use other people and work with other people who allow us to tap into that creative part of ourselves and give us a new perspective, give us a new take. If you always go into a situation with another creator or in any place with the mindset, I'm going to learn something here, you're going to be a better creator. And I hope that you can see that throughout this video, as I show you different compositions, how they set them up in real life time, that all of these three themes are going to show up within these videos. You're going to see that slowing down, being present, looking at your surroundings, which is the first thing that I talked about, being consciously aware, being present, and then also listening to your gut, your intuition. You'll see that come up again later. And hopefully the third thing that you'll learn out of this is hopefully you'll learn something from me as a creator. Hopefully you'll see how I look at things, how I like to compose my shots, what I'm doing to sort of create a scene and create a feeling from an image. Hopefully you can take that with you as well. I plan to make, hopefully, videos on each of these things and talk about them a little bit more in depth, but I just wanted to give you a taste for some of the things that have come up for me lately on how to improve not only my creativity, but my photography, and hopefully more creative pursuits in your life and in mine. Okay, so here's this really gorgeous sort of scene here. We have a lifeguard tower. I'm gonna attempt to take a photo of this, and I could take this in a lot of different ways. Like, you know, I could take this just sort of like that, right? And I just did that right now. But what if we were to sort of like if we were to get lower and sort of get like this? It kind of gives us a different perspective, and if we do it in portrait mode too, we can get a really nice shot this way, I think. I think I'm gonna put it more in the third, so give me a second here. So you can see, I'm gonna just frame it up like that. And let me talk a little bit about why I'm doing it this way. Because there's just a lot of visual stuff going on here and here. There's just a lot happening. It's a much simpler shot if we just go down a little bit, because then it just really hones in on here. And then if we do it like this, right, that cuts out a lot of that noise. And then it almost looks like a two-toned photo here. We have the blue on the top, and then we have the nice, gorgeous sort of sand on the bottom, which gives like kind of a light orange feel. And then you have that lifeguard thing in the middle. Gosh, I don't know what that's called. Someone in the comments, tell me what that is, because I'm dumb. It kind of splits them in two, and I think it kind of creates this really interesting dynamic between like the ocean, the thing that sort of like we need saving from sometimes, and then the sand on which we are safe. I don't know, that's the vibes it's giving right now. Okay, look at this gorgeous leading line. It's this blue sort of like, I don't know what you would call this, like a mat or something. I don't know if you can see, there's a couple that's sort of over there. They were just walking, but I was like, oh my God. First of all, this is beautiful on its own and could be a shot in and of itself, because it sort of feels like, I don't know, like a blue carpet to the ocean, you know, sort of vibe. But what I did here is I waited for that couple to come by, and I took a shot with them right in the middle, just leading you straight to them. Here's what it looks like with them in the middle, and then here's a photo with them without them there at all. I just thought I would share sort of how I would make this shot more interesting by adding a subject. In this case, I got lucky and someone walked by. Either way, good photo. Again, very simple composition. Blue ocean, orange, yellow sand, blue carpet. I mean, it doesn't get any more beautiful or simpler than that, honestly. All right, so I spotted this super cool van here with this fantastic mountain background surrounded by these trees. And at first I was gonna walk sort of over like right in here and take the photo with the mountain. But I noticed these lovely little, I don't know, trees, plants here, and decided, you know what, it would be really cool because I don't like this. It's covering it and that just makes me upset. So I was like, well, I can't get it out of the frame, but what I can do is cover it so that you know what you're looking at is the van. You know that this is the subject right there. So that's what I did. I framed it that way. I took my camera and I made it a portrait, and you can see it here. All right, so you see this house. It is super cute, and it's even more cute next to this tree here, because this tree has a very similar hue. You can't see it very well with my iPhone camera, but the hue is very similar, and it really brings out the color in the house. And I was like, how am I gonna get this in here? Right now I have my 35mm f2 on my Fujifilm X-T10, and which is roughly a 50mm equivalent. And so my 35 equivalent is in the car right now, and I just don't want to get it. But I was like, maybe I can use this as an opportunity to try to frame it. And so I did. I said, okay, I can't frame it. There's a lot for me to put in the frame, right? So I was standing originally somewhere over there, but I was like, you know what? Let's back up. Let's see how we can get this in the frame. And because I like this van so much already, I was like, all right, why don't I try to frame it so that what you're seeing is, this is the clear subject, but then you have the van kind of blocking this sort of ugly green like fence in this weird tent. What if I use the van as a vantage point to make it to frame it, because it's got a beautiful blue, and that blue really complements this yellow here, and then you can just move the frame up, and then the frame that you have is the trees, the green, and then you have the blue, which just adds a little pop of color because it matches this blue sky, and then you have all the greens and the yellows, and all of it just comes together really nicely. Look at this freaking dope ass car, right? It is so sick. And there are a few ways that I can take a photo of this, right? I could just, take a photo of it like this. And that's pretty, there's a nice sort of kind of white, kind of warehouse looking background, but you do have this sort of modern Chevy there, which is, not ideal. So there's a few ways to make this shot more interesting. So again, looking at your surroundings, there's that thing, and there's this wall here. All right, since I don't like that car, I want to try to frame it so that it's not really in it as much as possible, so that you're really only focused on this, right? So one way that you can do that is back up and cut off the frame here. And then you also have a nice kind of shot here, and then you could even frame it so that this thing is kind of adding a frame to it, so you have a portrait that goes like that, right? So that's one way. And then also, instead of just taking it from head on, the interior of this car is also beautiful, right? So, and since it's open, you have this beautiful green here with the orange that just contrast and go together so well. So you can find ways to frame the shot with the interior instead of just the car itself, because that adds a little more intrigue. And then also, you can frame it from the back as well, because it still looks really beautiful. And then you have a different kind of background here where you have the mountain and you have the trees, and it just looks way better that way. Okay, here's another scene I really like, because we've got the greens and this like kind of burnt umber orange looking color with the blue, which really accents it really well. And you can see right there is a window with a reflection of some trees in the background too, which adds another element to it if you're paying attention to that. But I framed a shot like this, and then I thought, what if I actually went up to that window here and I actually took a good reflection shot. I was hoping these trees would still be there, and lo and behold, they were. And I took a shot. Yeah, it ended up, and it's just gosh, it's such a beautiful shot. All right, well, I want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, and I hope you learned something. Please leave down in the comments anything that you felt that you learned that you're gonna take away from watching this video. And it's so cringy to say like and subscribe, but like, you know, do it. Still new to filming myself out in public and just filming myself in general, so if any of you watch this, I really appreciate it, and I thank you a lot. All right, have a good one, y'all. Bye.